Hi, everybody. Welcome to our first live conversation for Asian Heritage Month, which is officially Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And I'm really excited to bring us our special guest today, who is Madalene Mielke, all the way, you're in DC, correct?
Yes.
All the way from DC. And I just want to give a short bio and then we'll talk more about what you do. But everybody needs to know that you are president and CEO of the Asian Pacific American Institute for Congressional Studies. That's amazing, the work that you do. You're a highly sought after speaker, not only in just the Asian community, but in many, many different communities. And you've done advocacy work for communities of color, and you are an amazing wife and involved in so many things in leadership. You and I met on the Kakahashi trip as Asian American leaders to Japan back in October of 2018.
Yeah.
It's amazing how time flies. So
Yes.
we're just going to spend the next 10, 15 minutes talking to you as a very esteemed Asian leader in the community and all of the work that you're doing. So tell us a little bit more about you and the work that you're doing.
Sure. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk with you and your community. I was really excited to meet you when we were in Japan, just because of your background in music and all the good work that you do in the arts with young people. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. So a little bit about myself. My mother is Vietnamese and my father is American with German ancestry. So my last name is actually German. And I was born in Vietnam and then came to the US with my parents after 1976. So we were one of the last American families to leave Vietnam and come to the United States. And my father is originally from New Jersey. And so he wanted to settle down in the East Coast. And so we ended up settling in the Washington, D.C. area. And so I've been a Marylander, D.C. resident for the majority. And I really went to, your sort of stereotypical Asian American experience in the sense of, my mom really wanted me to do a lot of math and science. And so in summer, during the summer, she made me do all these extra homework things, which led me into a math and science high school. But then I graduated high school and went into political science instead. So no hard sciences for me in that sense. And for your music students, I also played an instrument. Starting at 7 years old, I played guitar. And so did that for about 13 years, took a music class when I was also in college to fulfill my music requirement.
Right?
So playing guitar, classical guitar. But my life has mainly been centered around providing more opportunities for communities of color for representation. So after I graduated college, I came back to the DC area and started working for a national political committee and worked in their training department and worked on a presidential campaign and eventually an inaugural. So I spent a lot of time really working with a lot of diverse people. And so my main mission, my why, as I like to say, is that I like to be able to work with people to give them opportunities to elevate our communities, whether it's Asian American or Latinx or African American or LGBTQ or any of our marginalized communities that need a voice. I have been very fortunate to have been given skills and resources to support those communities so that they can elevate themselves and uplift one another. So that's what we do also at APACS. We work with the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus, which is KPAC. And those are all the Asian American Pacific Islander members of the United States House of Representatives and the United States Senate. So we work with elected officials to basically increase AAPI representation at all levels of government. And so we were founded 26 years ago by former Secretary Norm Mineta when he was a member of Congress, along with former Guam delegate Robert Underwood. And so this is an opportunity for us to really uplift the Asian American Pacific Islander community in terms of public service. And so that's what we do at APACS. We have these programs that allow us to work with young people as congressional interns over the summer, and then congressional fellows as young professionals. And then we also do a leadership training program that allows our community to learn the skills to run for public office.
That's so amazing. And I just want everybody to know how beautiful and articulate and smart you are. Like we were able to have so many conversations, and I've seen you speak at Asian women's leadership conferences. And, this is one thing that we talk a lot about in the Asian community, how we need to speak up more. We tend to be a little insulated and we don't speak up. And so the programs that you run are really critical for our community to help teach young people how to advocate and speak, because they're so smart and they come with so many different experiences that our government needs to hear. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, absolutely. And I've been really fortunate since becoming president and CEO of APACS to also incorporate more programs for young people. So this year, unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we had to cancel it. We had a Kakahashi program where we actually recruited young people to go to Japan for their version of the Kakahashi, like we had ours. And so we had a great cohort ready to go. And then the weekend before, unfortunately, that's when Japan decided that they needed, for public health reasons, to close their borders. And so that's the type of opportunity we want to give at APACS, is to have young people better understand other cultures within the Asian communities, as well as understand that public service, whether you're a diplomat, whether you're working in community advocacy, is all important in terms of making sure that there is representation of our community throughout all of the different industries.
And another thing, I think it's beautiful that you represent that diversity, even as biracial Asian Americans. You're Vietnamese and white, and then I'm Korean and Black. And I think a lot of times our students who come from mixed race families may want some support in trying to figure out where can they be, what space can they live in. And so we want all of our students of Asian heritage to know that they can have a voice and be involved in many, many different areas of the community. You don't have to be pigeonholed into one community, but know that you can celebrate. That was a journey that I personally had to go on, being in the Black community, but also being in the Asian community. It's like, where do I fit? And it's so nice to know that there are these different types of supports to say we recognize the rich culture and diversity that our young people bring to the community and this process. And I think that the work that you're doing to actually seek out young people is really crucial. Real quick, can you give your website where people can go?
Sure. So we're fortunate that it's just APACS, APAICS.org. So just APACS.org.
And I think different Asian organizations can donate, or individuals can donate. How can people support what you do?
Absolutely. So we have, on our website, you can look at all of our different programs, because of course we want people to talk about programs and opportunities for young people. We have a high school program that we do with Close Up Foundation, and that's where we bring in AAPI students from across the country to DC so that they can understand what DC does. It's more than just a television show. And then also you can donate online as well, and that's also an opportunity for people to support our programs, because obviously this means we want to be able to continue doing the work and making sure that we have APIs at all levels of government representing us.
I think it can be a little scary and daunting for an Asian American who's not been involved in politics. And by the way, you're a nonpartisan organization.
Correct.
So anybody who just wants to make a difference in the community can come and be a part of this and feel welcome and learn about the process and get the support. Because I think if you're not used to being involved in politics at any level, you could use some support and advice, which you kind of hold everybody's hands, right? From filing to hopefully winning and next steps. So what advice would you give to a young person or even an adult, and maybe even first generation immigrant who might feel insecure about their language and wants to make a difference? What advice would you give to them?
Well, just always remember who you are. Your authentic self is what's more important than anything else. Being true to yourself and to others around you. And honestly, everyone has value and is an asset to our community. And understanding that you can't undervalue yourself, and that we all believe that you have the ability and the experience and insight to be able to bring voice to your perspective as an Asian American, as a person of color, maybe as a woman, maybe as an LGBTQ. All of the aspects of you as an individual are all wonderful things. And that's what we really encourage people when they think about running for office or going into public service, or even joining a commission, because that doesn't require you to run for office, but it does require you to understand that you bring value in whatever subject matter you are an expert at. So I truly believe that individuals underestimate themselves at times, and they don't think that they have anything important to say, or they don't have enough experience, and that's usually not the case. So don't undervalue yourself. And then also, I would say, remember those people who came before us, because one of the things that we are experiencing right now due to our current public health situation is an uptick in racism within our community. And so it's vitally important for us to remember that there are others who have faced this as well in other communities of color. So the Black African American community, Latinx, and it's important for us to stand up for them just as much as when we're asking them to stand up for us during this time. And so we just need to remember that there have been a lot of other communities before us who have paved the way to give us this opportunity now to be a part of this country. So just remember a little bit of history.
Thank you for that reminder, and that conversation around xenophobia is very prevalent right now, and we just want everybody to know they have support. Now, you're used to traveling all over the globe, speaking at major events. I imagine that you're doing a lot of Zooms these days.
Yes.
How can someone reach out to you if they would love to hire you to come and speak at an event once we are all out of quarantine?
Well, I do have, you can follow us on Twitter also at Apex, APAICS. And then the same thing, you can also, my Twitter account's just my name. So it's Madalene Mielke, MADALENEMIELKE is my Twitter handle. So feel free to reach out to me there.
Okay, and as we close, a final fun thing. I know you are quite the fashionista, because I follow you and you have really cute clothes. But let's go to food. Like, do you have a comfort food or something that you're enjoying during this time?
Well, I am Vietnamese, so I do like a good bowl of pho. However, I'm an equal opportunity eater. So anything that someone will make for me, I will eat it. And so I am down for anyone who makes me a homemade meal. That to me is a sign of love. So
is there something that you are able to do now that you weren't able to do before that's bringing you some joy? What's bringing you some sunshine and smiles these days?
Okay, so I've sort of fallen over the deep end on watching the Netflix Crash Landing on You. So a lot of Korean drama right now.
That's hilarious. Well, Madalene, thank you so much. I just love talking to you. You are so smart and you are such a humanitarian. And what you've decided to do with your time in your life and your career, just giving back and investing into other people, is just making the Asian community so much stronger and so much better. So thank you for being generous with your time today, and wishing you lots of good health and good wealth.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. And, please visit Apex when you get a chance. And I hope to actually see you in person again very soon.
All right. Have a good one. Take care.
Thank you.